That's right, you're watching Open Exchange right here on CNBC Africa. Well, investment. Is it all about bonds, equities, property, or money in the bank? Difficult economic times and quantitative easing, the new buzzwords, have all seen the value of money dwindle. In places like China and India, the monies are beginning to look elsewhere, the fine arts, that is. There are also signs that in South Africa, investing in fine art is beginning to catch on.
Unlocking the vault to wealth. Stored inside here are old and contemporary fine art pieces. These could give an investor a good capital gain. Still, very few are buying into this alternative investment class. Those that are into it are business people, white and wealthy. Cherie De Villiers owns this gallery in Johannesburg selling fine art paintings and sculpture.
The market is really driven by lots of art lovers. And that makes the art market more stable because it's in a smaller market, and it's not as volatile as your stock market with thousands and thousands of investors.
Sanlam has gone as far as creating an art advisory service, the first of its kind in South Africa, recognition of art as a growth asset.
After the global financial crisis, people had assets that they thought were pretty safe, only to wake up with a bit of a shock. And since then, with the stimulus packages that have been announced by various central banks around the world, there's worries that inflation will be the ultimate result. So you've seen the gold price move quite sharply in anticipation that there'll be higher inflation, and people are looking for other ways to protect themselves, and so looking to invest in art.
The market may be small, but prices have grown. Prices depend on the quality of works offered and the strength of the market.
The art market in South Africa has been underpriced for many years. We've seen prices appreciate just recently in the last few years, and I still think we see a lot more area for improvement in art prices.
130,000. Telephone bidder now against you at about 140,000, new bidder now.
This auction was a sign of the times, an indication that the price surge has captured investors' imagination. It turned over 66 million rand, a South African record. A sign, according to Mary Jane Darrell, that the industry is faring well, even in difficult times.
Economically, there has obviously been a major downturn, but fine art seems to be bucking the system and going at a tangent that's completely opposite to anything that we see in the marketplace, and that's very interesting. And a lot of people have said to me, well, why is this? And I think it is for the reason that over probably the last 2 to 3 years we have seen a huge interest in the investment potential of art.
Here was how people spent their money. Irma Stern's 2 still-life paintings sold for 11,140,000 and 8,355,000. Pierneef's works of the baobab tree sold for 7,575,200, and this one sold for 5,792,800. Maud Sumner's Nature More achieved 10 times its pre-sale estimate and sold for 2,450,800 rand. According to the auction, house prices for major art are estimated to have increased over 500% in the last decade. Given the volatility in the bond, equity and property markets, there could be a future for this kind of investment.
People are looking for an alternative form of investment. Fixed interest rates are not yielding the investment potential people would like. Stock market is still extremely volatile. There's still a huge nervousness out there for people to invest.
Well, there certainly are risks, obviously, like any. There's not really much of a market risk because you've got plenty of, there are not that many quality pieces. There are plenty quality pieces, but they're certainly limited in scope. So I think that you will in terms of the risk, you've got things like be careful of buying maybe a fake or buying a stolen painting. So there are those risks, so people do need advice.
People working in this market say it's stable. They claim stockbrokers came to do business when the stock market crashed 2 years ago.
People that bought before the markets even crashed, and some of my clients who ran into financial difficulties actually at least had an asset that they were able to sell after the markets. In 2008, when the markets took a real pounding, a lot of guys who had bought, who were stock market, they were brokers, investment bankers, at least they had their paintings, and they managed to still get good growth, and we managed to resell.
Indeed, investing in fine art now in South Africa could be good news for those who are looking for alternative investment to diversify their portfolio. Locking fine art in the vault could be as good as money in the bank.